Yay! Hello, everyone. Welcome to this 19th session of In the Demon's Grasp, where today we are missing Althemia again. She's not feeling the best, but we do have Neon, Meteor, Banana, and Fire Red Lily. If you ever hear
Yes.
me say anything to Fire, that would be who I'm speaking to. I don't often
Mm-hmm.
speak in third person, but sometimes he does.
Yes, we
Anyways,
we are both fire.
Uh,
oh yeah, and
yes.
guest star Meteor's fresh little one.
Yes.
So when last we left off, our group had just returned pretty much a Feywild forest back to the Feywild, it seems. And the bright light that came before filled the sky and their vision, and suddenly they find themselves in a rather plain looking forest. It's quite quiet, as most anything would when a forest is suddenly disturbed by people appearing, and who knows whether a light was seen. As your all's eyes adjust, you do look around and you notice it appears to be a rather normal forest. You don't notice any outrageously blue flowers or glowing eyes on bunnies. You don't hear any sounds untowards as the chirps of forest insects and everything kind of start to pick back up.
No
Uh,
birds insulting us.
yep, there are no uh, crows flying overhead calling you idiots. It is very dark. Again, before it was getting nighttime, and you all pushed through that. So
We pushed
uh,
through because the satyrs seemed really upset about the prospect of waiting even longer to go home.
I think the druids were too.
Yeah, we felt
Or
guilty.
dryads, not druids.
The
Dryads.
yeah.
so it's cool but not freezing. In the sky, you can see what appears to be a full moon, or slightly before and after. From where you're looking, it appears to be a full moon rising. And as the sounds of the forest start to surround you as a nighttime forest would, the next thing you notice that kind of shatters this somewhat peaceful silence is a crack sound is heard from a bag on Naya's person.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
Uh,
That's
I
this
am
is
No.
digging for the vials.
Okay, you dig through looking for the vials. Both vials have rather large, a singular blue hued crystal growing in them. One of the sets of two vials has cracked on the end where the point of one of these crystals had pushed up against it. It seems to still be sealed as far as you can tell physically, but you do know that the crack definitely goes through the entirety of the glass to the outside.
Is there a way we can destroy those somehow?
I'm more
I don't
alarmed by the
know.
fact that they seem fully grown at this point because they were dust when we left.
Yeah, that's instant growth.
That's very
Hence why
fast
I'm
growth.
asking, is there a way that we can get rid of those?
I mean, we did just
Mm,
activate a lot of magic around them.
that was very quick.
That was a lot of magic though.
Um, yeah, I think we should probably put them back at some point, but I don't want to go back to put them back down. Um, it seemed unsafe to just drop them at the Fey Forest, so I'm glad we didn't.
Oh,
Um,
we could have just left them in the temple and just let it be someone else's problem.
but then we wouldn't be
That would
any
have been the
closer
thing
to
we could have left
knowing
behind.
how these react, though. What if they're important later?
Oh.
What if this is a clue as to why we woke up the way we did?
We need to find a way to put it in some sort of a stasis where there's no magic then.
Yeah, we need some kind of anti-magic device or container or something. Hmm.
We need a messenger bird to carry it back to Kashi.
Huh?
If we had a
Yeah.
messenger bird, I would be looking for Grandma first.
How are we gonna?
Naya just
Hi.
Naya stares at Princess for a moment, wondering if that's a volunteering.
Are we gonna put it in the bird? Is that how that works?
I don't think putting it in the bird is a good idea.
Poor bird.
Okay.
That would be one exploding birdie.
Midnight would not feel comfortable with me leaving for that long.
In the distance, you hear the howl of wolves. They sound like normal wolves as far as you can tell.
Did we want to try to find somewhere safe to make camp?
Some owls hooting.
Probably smart.
Owls.
Who?
Probably smart because we're gonna be exhausted in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Well,
tea
we
kind
can
of
still go
gave
to
us
sleep. It's not like
yeah, it gave us
super
a
late.
second wind, but we're definitely still going to be worn out if we don't rest. We should rest.
We should rest.
I'm going to look around to see if there's a safe looking space to bed down for the night.
Looking around where you are, you don't really notice anything open. You know, again, y'all are standing in what used to be a clearing, but now is very densest forest. You do know, however, that this forest has been traveled and there was a path within it, but the path leading to where you are now seems to have been removed or restored, maybe depending on how you think of it.
Okay, can I look for anything that looks like it would be kind of obscured?
Okay, give me a perception check.
Okay, just standard roll. So let me make sure that's set to normal. Yes. 19, starting off well here.
Okay. With your perception, looking around in the forest, your eyes adjusting to the dim light and everything else, and trying to find an open space, you don't really notice any nice places like that you could put down. The trees are pretty densely packed, but you know you can still travel through them. However, in the distance, towards where y'all would have come from on the path that used to be there, you do see a glow of light. The glow of light is at the bottom, and then it appears to be another little bitty glow that's a little bit higher up. Not quite as bright, but it seems to be kind of coming from the same location.
No smoke or anything?
There is no smoke that you can
Is
see.
there any particular color to the glow?
Uh, it's kind of the orange yellow hue of like a fire or a
Okay.
lantern or
So
something like
firelight
that.
or lantern light, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll mention that to the group and be like, do we want to investigate and see if maybe that's safe to go
Well,
rest there?
how far away does that appear to be?
It's within walking distance, maybe 10 minutes at the most.
Then yeah. And it's what
I
time
would
of
say
night?
quietly investigate.
It's starting to get
It's
dark.
dark.
Okay. Yeah. If it's just starting to get dark, then for sure.
Yeah, I mean the moon. It is dark now. The moon is rising.
Okay.
The full moon's rising.
Yeah, I will cautiously head towards the light after making sure everybody is aware of what's going on.
I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace so we can be quiet.
Smart.
Okay.
Good plan.
So you all go towards the light.
Don't
Making
make
it
it
through
sound. Don't make it sound like we're dying.
making it through the forest back now that the path that you originally came through seems to be non-existent is quite a bit tougher, but it's nothing you can't handle. You know, there's more roots from trees and everything. You do notice that there are no humongous trees like there were in the Fey Forest before. As you get closer, the forest kind of opens up a little bit, and you see a rather weird looking tall tower uh, that has a what's the word? Trying to think of the word here.
I need some context to help me find a word. Not in your
Flagstone
brain.
path leading up to it.
Okay.
Next to the tower is a rather open area that appears to have a fire pit, uh, like within the center of it, and nothing else seems to be there outside of that.
Is the fire pit lit?
That fire pit is not. As y'all got closer, you saw that the glow that you uh, believe you saw seems to be the lanterns and the light coming from the windows of this tower structure. Beside the tower, you see an old hanging sign that doesn't really have anything on it. It appears to have been worn away at this point. So there's a picture that is on the scene if you want to take a look.
Okay.
Looks a little eerie.
Let's go here. There. So that's what y'all see. And over to the left of it, where you see the few extra lanterns, there is this open spot with the fire pit.
Hmm. Can we get close enough to look into one of the windows?
You certainly can.
'Cause they have a couple that are ground level.
Say that again. That's up to you. If y'all are trying to be sneaky, then you definitely need to roll stealth.
I would like to try to be sneaky if we're looking in a window, yes.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. Give me your stealth check.
I would probably suggest that like Midnight or Princess do the scouting in the window rather than
Rather than you with your armor,
yeah.
even though your boots negate it.
They negate it, but I'm still not very stealthy.
I only have a 1 in stealth. I'm not stealthy bunny.
Yeah, we're okay at stealth, so yeah, we can do that. Princess can fly
I
up.
mostly figured Princess, even if they get spotted, will look
Um,
less out of place looking in a window because it's a bird.
Yeah, but Princess
will
screaming
turn
is
invisible
not
so that
very
she gets
stealth.
advantage on stealth.
So Princess is going to turn invisible.
Yes,
And Kalina, are you going to move up with everybody so your pass without a
that's
trace
better.
sticks with everyone?
Yeah, let me roll. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'll be keeping an eye on the door while they're doing that.
Okay.
12 plus 10. So
22.
22.
31
Okay.
for Princess.
As you
28
get
for me.
closer to it, you hear a click at the door. Uh, this is about maybe 10 feet away from it, heading towards the window on the right or the left. Which window do you want to look through?
Princess is gonna look through the top window.
The
So,
one
like,
over the door?
this one.
The tower.
The one way up there. Okay, Princess looks through that window and sees what appears to be a library of some sort. Several books and things are laid out on a large desk, and the walls are lined with old books. Some of them have tatters, some of them look newer, some of them look old enough that if you breathe on them, they might crumble.
Okay, and then this one next.
Okay, looking through there actually shows into a rather large, weirdly shapen main room of sorts. From the ceiling hang several, I guess you could say, implements and things, weirdly shaped tools. Some things that look like wands or dang, I can't think of the word. Wands or twigs. You see various bottles lining shelves, and down from that window from above, you can see the bald head of a rather bulky dwarf who seems to be looking down and tinkering at something in front of him.
Is there any signage around here?
He has a large white beard that goes down to brown. Uh, his clothing seems to be made of a tanned and colored leather.
Is there any signage around here?
There's only the sign that's out front, but it seems to have been worn away.
It's very faded.
Yes.
Okay. Princess will go back and convey this to everyone.
And the clicking sound from the door, was there any indication as to what that was?
Nope, it was just a singular click. If you had to guess, it sounded like a lock either being locked or unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
It was an audible click, but definitely not anything like the tower had made before. It was more of like a heavy, kerthunk click.
See, it's more likely they were locking than unlocking the door if they haven't opened the door yet. But yeah, Naya's basically keeping an eye on the door itself to see if there's any movement at the door while they're looking in the window so that nobody's caught off guard.
There doesn't seem to be. And as Princess flies back away from the tower, that same sound happens again from the door.
So it's proximity.
It is proximity, yeah.
Interesting.
So Naya's gonna look through the inventory really quick.
Okay.
Um,
Woo. Wolves howl in the distance. There's a
Do
few
trees shake?
yapping and barking. Occasionally, you hear the sound of a bat finding its way through the skies.
Do I notice any bats?
You can see a few of them that happen to fly overhead rather quickly, so yes.
Midnight, with a wry smile on her face, pulls out a granado.
Pulls out a what?
Granado? Grenade?
Oh, okay, a granado.
Any other
Darn,
animals
that's
I'm
something I
seeing?
didn't make. Dang it. You hear an owl every so often looking around. You can try and spot one if you want to give me a perception check.
Trying to get my animal decks up.
I had to look up what a granado was again because I don't remember. I never remember.
It's a time grenade. It's a new item that's in. I just forgot to make the item for it. Remind me to do that later, please, Meteor. So we can actually add them. Looking around, you do happen to see a few bats that seem to be flying this way and then into the distance. You do happen to catch the glint of an owl's eye at some point as it's turning its head looking for food. You see a few rats scurrying across the ground, and that seems to be what the owl's eyes were following. Watching around, you see one of the rats get caught by said owl before it decides to fly off for its feast, for its dinner. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. You see a few bugs here and there.
I assume
Cicada.
someone tells Midnight to put the grenade away.
Yeah, Naya would if she can get close enough to be heard.
You can tell she wasn't being serious, but just
Yeah.
You don't see any wolves at the moment. but you definitely heard them.
If we keep hearing the wolves, Naya is going to just approach the door, not necessarily being stealthy.
Can Princess spot any wolves? Because he has 120 feet of dark vision.
Give me a perception.
I have 60 feet of dark vision. But
Perception's wisdom.
I'm just trying to get my animal decks up.
11.
Princess does not see any wolves.
Darn.
So is Naya approaching the door?
yep,
Okay,
Naya's gonna go for the door. Nobody's
pro-
reported back to me with what they found from the windows as being anything worrying, so
so you approach the door about 10 feet from it or so, walking along this flagstone path. You hear a kerthunk click from the door.
Naya will walk within reach of the door and she will knock.
You
I
knock
would
on the
stand
door.
off to the side when you knock.
Yep.
You hear some shuffling within. You hear a clatter and a clang, as that sounds like someone dropped a thing of utensils. Uh, you hear a rather gruff voice yell out, "1 moment, 1 moment, I'll be there in a moment."
Uh, not Princess. Midnight is and Princess, I guess, are gonna kind of hide behind a tree and just like have an Eldritch Blast ready.
Yep. Naya can face step if she needs to. It's okay.
I'm still trying to stealthy bun. I'm not trying to be seen yet.
Yeah,
You
Naya is fine with being seen at this moment.
Colfax
hear-
is just gonna sniff the air.
a clang and then a clatter as if bottles are being tapped together and shuffled around and everything else. And then on the left side of the door, a small opening at the top you see slide across above the
Peephole.
above the knob, and you see two rather weirdly, I suppose, glowing orangish eyes looking out, and a rather furrowed brow that that uh, seems to be looking outward intently at you. And they look around. There's no word said. And then they close, and then you hear kerthunk from the door again, and then the voice calls it, "Come in, come in. Welcome, welcome."
Naya's a little confused by that.
Um,
And
Midnight
then you hear the
steps
clattering
out.
again, and you hear rather heavy footsteps leading away from the door.
Midnight will follow.
I'm gonna sneakily follow in as well.
Yeah, Colfax is just gonna kind of like
So you want to
quietly
open the door?
follow.
Naya's very cautiously poking the door open with a finger.
It seems as if it opens outward instead of inward.
Okay, so she's gonna pull the door open gently then,
Okay, you pull the door open.
and is kind of looking, peering at the threshold as it's revealed, making sure there's nothing weird like above our heads or anything.
Give me a perception check or an
Okay.
investigation if you actually want to get up close and personal and do the rubby before you open the door.
I was hoping I could use my passive perception, but this is an active thing, so understandable that I can't.
Yeah,
Um,
you are actively looking
27.
around.
Oh, you crit. You are really, really,
Yeah.
really looking.
Looking around, now that you're getting a better view up close to the door, you see just slightly over the door an image of some type of room that's painted over the doorway, the rocks above it making the arch pointing outward. At the moment, it seems like it's lit, as if it's active.
So a door lock and unlock when okay.
Uh, you don't really notice anything special about the door itself. From where you are, you don't see anything other than that one singular active glyph over your head.
Do I recognize anything about this glyph? Is it even remotely familiar? Can I guess what it does?
Give me an Arcana check if you would.
Okay. 19.
With your Arcana check, based on what you know of somewhat of magic and various other things, it appears to be some type of triggering glyph that seems to trigger when something happens or moves within range of it.
So I could probably
Proximity.
surmise that this was the source of the clicking that we were hearing, was
You probably
this
could.
rune interacting with us approaching the door.
Yeah,
or leaving
with
it.
your knowledge, I
Maybe.
think that would be a safe assumption to make.
Hi,
Okay.
Luke.
So we have been invited in. So Naya will cross the threshold and walk in.
Yeah, you open the door, and behind a counter that has various implements and everything on it stands a rather bald
Thank you.
headed dwarf.
Very
I was about
orange
to ask
eyes.
if there was a way for me to see him a little bigger. Awesome.
Very orange
Yeah, I
eyes.
zoomed in.
Yeah.
And his eyes seem to glow with an orange color. And he says, "Welcome, welcome to Torgrim's store of baubles and interest. What can I help you with?
What
I don't
is
often see people." He pauses there for a moment, and then he says, "This late at night."
Yes, we seem to have found ourselves in the depths of the forest a little later in the evening than we'd anticipated.
And he says, "Feel free to take a look, peruse around. I trade in all sorts of things desirable, antiquities, interesting things that others might not always find the best of ways."
Naya's eyes are gonna kind of sharpen at that, and she's going to, kind of looking at him intently, ask him, "Do you do appraisals?"
I do, I do. Do you have
And
something for me that might be of interest to
she will
someone
fish
else?
out the vial with the crystals, the one that was dangerously close to breaking.
His eyes light up more, not really as a glow, but I mean the facial features of someone who looks like they're surprised and happy at the same time, of someone who seems rather interested in something that's been shown before them, uh, happens there. And he says, "Oh my, what might that be? That definitely looks quite interesting."
I was
so
hoping you might be
no
able to
recognition?
Um,
tell us
Midnight
something.
also takes the reeds out of her bag and sets them on the table next to it.
Yep, the two.
Let me see if I can get this scaled right here. Definitely not what I wanted.
It's behind the tower image right now too, I think.
It's on the left of it.
Yeah.
There
Yeah, part
we
of it
go.
was behind. There we go. Still pretty small. There we go. That's
Yeah, I keep
okay, so that's
forgetting to
just
hold Alt.
so that's the same image, just not cropped as far.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
Okay.
shows the area around and what
Okay.
the workshop looks like in a way. So he happily holds out his hand and says, "Let me see. I'll happily take a look."
I will go ahead and place file in his hand.
Okay, he takes it. He holds it up to his eye for a moment. He twirls it around in his hand. You know how people do the little coin thing between their
Yeah, where
fingers?
they yeah.
Somehow or another, he manages to take this rather large two vials that have been stuck together and flicks it between his fingers as he's looking at it. Interestingly, he reaches down behind the counter and pulls up a monocle and gives it a shake and then taps it on the desk before holding it up to one of his eyes. And then he holds up the vials closely among it, and he says, "This appears to absorb magic. Is this the one that has the crack in it or not?"
Yes.
Okay, and he says, "And it looks like it's had quite a fill based on the crack you see here. Uh, would you be willing to Let me take this off of your hand. I can give you a trade for a trade.
Yes.
And then he starts rubbing his beard quite interestingly as he looks back to you.
Were you able to discern anything else about it other than its properties of being reactive to magic? We did notice that ourselves.
It doesn't seem to be from around these parts. It looks like something familiar from another place that I've been recently, down near the coast, but this one is quite pristine, as if it's fed off some quite pure magic, which is definitely of interest to me.
Well, it is quite unique, he hears from nowhere. Since
Down the
Princess is still
coast,
invisible.
down the
This-
coast, that wouldn't happen to be Cashy, would it?
Why, yes, yes, it would. I was there just a few nights ago.
That's where we came from.
Ah, yeah, I've never seen a crystal this pristine from there. It's fed of magic of the waters and the waves and the air around, but this seems to have been exposed to some rather strong and pure magic.
I'll whisper in Naya's ear, could it be the Fey magic? So
Is
he's
it-
not
it-
hearing it.
This item is
Naya's
quite.
Naya's going to give the slightest of nods, and is actively wondering if it's worth giving up the second one.
It is
but
quite rare and unique indeed.
but he mentioned a trade, so we might want to see what is on offer.
Princess is trying to like hype it up a bit.
You're trying to inflate the value.
Exactly.
I got you.
While Naya's trying to think about that, I'll be like, sir, I have a question then. Since you've been around places, have you heard of my grandma, perchance? Her name's Daphne.
He rubs his beard and he thinks a moment as if he's racking his brain. He tilts his head to one side and then the other, and then he says, I don't think I've sold anything to someone by the name Daphne.
Okay.
In
I've been
what?
trying to get her on my scenting stone, and I'm not getting her. A
Oh,
little worried.
He speaks up at that and says, you may have some trouble around here. For some reason, messages out and in seem to be having trouble through this force. So, but that seems to have changed rather recently for some reason.
It's basically a hint to try again. Um, um,
What about
but
these raids? Anything
can Naya
interesting
be
about
attempting
those?
to take his measure while these interactions are going on?
You certainly can. You can give me an insight check if you'd like. And what was the question there, Meteor?
What about the wreaths?
The wreaths?
Mm-hmm.
That was good. 12.
Can you point out what you're talking about?
The
The
ones
wreaths
with
from
the
the
hair.
hags, the
we got
ones
from
that
the
they were gonna
hags.
have us wear.
Oh, those wreaths. Okay.
Mhm.
With your insight, you can tell that he definitely seems to be interested. He's holding himself up as if he's quite confident. He's got that merchant's air about him, but it does seem, just with the way the tower is built and the odds and ends that are around here, that it's not quite the normal merchant R you would give. It's kind of the thing you would get from like a street urchin trying to sell you something, but still very confident of what he has, as in he looks like he's holding something close, but you can't quite tell what it is. But
Okay.
that may also just be how a merchant does, because merchants like to keep their full knowledge to themselves and everything.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
so while y'all are doing that, Naya hasn't answered him
Mhm.
and is going to peruse the shop and consider while y'all do the rest of this.
Okay. And Princess said, what about these wreaths? And then is
Mhm.
Midnight going to show him a wreath?
Yep, she puts all 5 out on the table.
His eyes light up at that, and he looks down, and then he says, is it okay if I take a look?
You
He
may.
holds his hand out and does the little finger thing as if he wants to grab it, but waits happily on your response.
You
Then he
may.
takes one, and he does the same thing with the monocle, except he takes it away from his eye and taps it on the counter again, then holds it back up to it, and then he pulls the wreath up and holds it to his in front of his eye and twirls it around in his hand, twisting it like someone holding a band or a bracelet might. And then he tilts his head and looks kind of dejected and says, I have no need of something like this.
Can you tell me any information about it?
It appears to just be a plain vine headband.
Oh.
I mean, it's pretty, I guess. You can feel and hear the question mark as he tried to force himself to say that when he said it, as if he's trying not to hurt your feelings.
So they're
It took
not enchanted anymore.
it took him a
Sounds
moment
like
to
it.
search for that word. Naya can definitely feel that that's a lie. He doesn't think it's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on the up and up about them no longer being magical, or not being
As far
magical
as
as
you
far
can
as he can
tell, he
discern.
he definitely believes that. You feel
Alright.
like he is truthful about that statement.
Okay.
One other thing I'd like you to take a look at.
Uh-huh.
Probably not magical, but I just want to check. He puts the golden seed on the counter.
Oh, his eyes light up at that, and he starts rubbing his beard before he's even put the manacle down. He said, Now that's something I know nothing about. And he reaches
Meteor.
down. Go ahead.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, Meteor, there's another thing you can have him look at is that ring.
We'll get
Oh,
there.
true.
He reaches down and he lifts it up carefully between his fingers, has rather large, fat fingers, and he holds it up to his eye that doesn't have the monocle, and he kind of turns it around in his hand for a moment. Then he sets the seed down on his counter there, and just off to the side, rather suddenly, he pulls out a hammer and smacks it.
No.
This is
Naya
instant.
will attempt to stop him from that.
Go ahead and give
Yeah.
me a
Midnight will shove her hand in the
dexterity
way.
check from both of you.
Sorry, say again. I couldn't hear you over Meteor. What kind
Dex
of check?
check.
A dex check, please.
Okay,
Dexterity
just straight
ability
dex.
check. Yep.
Can I cast guidance?
You can't because this is a reaction.
Reactionary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's I figured, but I wanted to ask. Nope.
Oh.
Okay. You both reach out, trying to get him to stop, hands in the air, but it's too late, and there's a smack as the hammer lands on the counter and the seed at the same time. And then he lifts the hammer back up and looks at it. The seed seems unharmed, perfectly fine. And he does the little thing with his beard again and kind of hums to himself. Then he picks it back up, and this time he looks at it with the eye of the monocle on it, and he moves it around there. He doesn't seem like he even noticed that y'all had reached your hand out to try and stop him. He seems very intent on looking at the seed.
Interesting.
And then after a moment, he looks back down at you both, your hands in the air, and kind of tilts his head to the side and says again, "Oh, definitely a trade for a trade."
Midnight will hold her hand out for the seed.
He looks a little dejected at that. All this happiness and glow from his face kind of drains away a little bit, and then he gives you the seed back.
What can you tell me about it other than it's hammer-proof?
Uh, Definitely seems to be magical of some type, though of the type I'm not quite sure. Definitely not from around here, and something I've never seen before. Uh, I would consider that very valuable and unique myself, but I will happily give you a trade for a trade if you're willing to part with it.
See, this kind of confuses me though, because I'm pretty sure Midnight put it like in between her teeth and it squished a little. So how is it hammer-proof?
Maybe other people aren't allowed to damage it?
It definitely felt like when you did it that it was a seed and not a solid piece of gold is what I'll say to that. And
But
this was a rather large mallet that had looked like a cast iron of some type.
Naya will glance at Midnight as if to gauge if she wants attention off of the seed.
We will consider your offer.
He
And
nods
put it
his
back in
head
the bag.
and says, Feel free to peruse if you'd like, but certain items are only a trade for a trade.
Do
And
you do curse removal?
cursed removal, well, I can certainly take a cursed item off of your hand if it's something that might be interesting.
So you buy it, not remove the curse.
Why, of course. I'm a merchant, not a
Okay.
magician. Though there are
Fair
times
enough.
when I'm a
Fair
magician.
Neat.
Yeah, let's look around, see what he has to trade.
Yep.
Okay, looking around, you see various potions, though strangely, none of them seem to be labeled. But you do see various red potions, blue potions. Some of them look like the healing potions that you had found previously
Mm-hmm.
with that glow and hue. You actually see a few that remind you quite a lot of your tea when you make it, that kind of glow and have sparkles inside of it.
Can I compare one of my tea vials with one of the potions?
You
Just
certainly
visually?
can. So pulling out your vial of tea, and he's definitely watching as y'all
I'm
peruse,
sure
but
he
he doesn't
is.
seem to react to that. And it
Okay.
looks extremely similar. You
Okay.
would probably say that yours looks more concentrated
Mm-hmm.
than the flask of whatever the liquid is that he has, though it's hard to tell exactly why or how that is, other than yours just has more sparkles in it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So I will put my vial back.
Again, you see the wands and the various things hanging from the ceiling on his front desk. Beneath a piece of glass, he has a few candles that seem to be lit. You see the occasional animal skull here and there, though a few of them seem to be missing teeth or have way too many teeth. You see a preserved two-headed snake. You see a preserved three-headed snake. You see a three-headed snake that's not quite preserved, but seems to be moving around in a cage.
See, that stuff is all Midnight's jam.
We know.
Unless Naya finds anything that immediately sticks out.
Yeah. Is there
Um,
anything you're specifically kind of interested in looking for? And I can see if it's might be here in the shop.
I don't have
'Cause,
my wish list, so
yeah,
I
there
don't
is.
remember off the top of my head if anything of importance is in there. Um,
um, can a princess try to invisibly, stealthily get a closer look at that monocle of his?
You can have Princess. Is Princess still invisible from before?
Yes. The entire time
Okay.
he's been talking, he's been invisible.
Okay. That'd be why the voice was heard out.
Yep.
Okay.
Without a minute.
So yeah, you can have Princess try and go take a look.
Okay, I'll
So
roll
tell me
my
what Princess is
stealth.
doing.
Take a closer look at that monocle. See what
Okay.
its deal is.
So Princess is just kind of flying over towards him.
Uh, yes, stealthily.
My password
And
without trace is still up, by
I
the
was
way.
gonna say, I assume that's still up.
I am still concentrating.
So 22.
Okay, Princess flies over rather stealthily.
While invisible.
Yep, while invisible. Uh, Flies behind his head to look at the monocle. Looking through the monocle, Princess sees lots of swirls and like a misty mist within the monocle that's definitely not beyond it.
So it can probably detect magic, or at least schools of magic.
Some sort of an appraisal tool.
Yeah.
Naya would like to look for an earring of message.
An earring of message.
It's basically would be an earring that allowed you to use one charge of the message spell per day.
Hmm.
It's an item.
Let's see. You do happen to see an earring that kind of matches that description. You only see one though that seems to be hanging kind of nonchalant on a hook on the wall.
Does it have to be paired?
No, it does not. They're not like linked communication earrings. It's just an earring that you can wear that gives you one charge of message.
Yep.
As
Has
a
a
spell.
blue crystal copper wire kind of wrapped around holding it, which would be, where you would hook it around. Has a small, tiny shape of an ornate horn that's emblazoned within the blue crystal that's on it.
Is that one charge period or one charge per day?
One charge per dawn. Resets at dawn.
So per day, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has 5 charges.
Oh, okay. The one that I saw just mentioned one in the description, but I didn't look into the full item.
I can't think of anything that I'd want to look for.
I don't know that
Um,
would be enough of a trade, though. I think
Any
we could probably
magic
get more than one
bags?
item out of that.
Any magic bags? I don't think we
Any
have one of
what?
those. Magic bags.
You
Bag of
definitely
holding.
see several bags that are hanging from the walls, from the ceiling. A few of them laying on counters, various here and there. Though it's hard to tell exactly what kind they are just looking at them. Gently, and then
Uh-oh.
that
You're
crystal.
going robot and cutting
Yeah,
out.
I did not
Darn.
hear anything you just said.
Am I back now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so he pops up, watching you all kind of perusing, and says, "So, about that crystal," and starts rubbing his beard again. "Would you care a trade for a trade? I have some special items just for such occasions."
I would be interested to see these special items. I'm not opposed to a trade.
Ah, his face lights up again where it previously drained when the golden seed was taken from his view. And as you're watching him for a moment, he starts patting his chest and around himself as if he's looking for something. And then before your eyes, just kind of in his hand, he pulls forth what appears to be a blue-ish colored mace. And he says, This was used to teach children how to fight. It can be swung, and anything it hits, it'll pop out some candy. Of the type, I'm not sure. I've never had to put it to use."
Naya's just gonna kind of give him a look like, are you serious right now?
You give him the look, and then he lays that out on his counter and says, hmm. Then he starts patting himself around again. This time he reaches to his left and kind of put out what appears to be a crown that has kind of a white spiderwebby look to the bottom, as if it's very old cloth, but it's not spiderweb. And he says, "Now with this, you can see anything dead, whether it's where you are or where it shouldn't be. It does have a slight drawback, though, as anything dead can see you. Appears to be a crown of some type."
Naya's still not Not particularly interested.
Oh, he
Totally does
says,
not seem like a midnight item, though, doesn't it?
A little bit.
what was that?
Totally does not seem like a midnight item, doesn't it?
He says, hmm. Okay, let's see. I have, oh. He reaches behind him, behind his cloak that he's wearing, and pulls out what appears to be another cloak, and says, "Now with this, you can disguise yourself as just about anything you want. Nobody would ever know who you are, where you're from, where you're going."
What's the catch?
Um, he he kind of tilts his head and seems reluctant to say, and he says, "But well, you don't get full choice over what you look like."
Can I try it?
Sure. He holds it out towards the
Towards the what?
The void.
voice.
Voice. Midnight reaches out and grabs it
Okay.
and puts it on.
Okay. You put it on. It's a rather green gray cloak. You can cast disguise self at will if you so choose.
I cast disguise self.
Okay. What do you want to look like?
Since I actually know what this is, I'm going to turn into like the most ugly, like wart covered, like just like old man you've ever seen.
I'm surprised you didn't turn into the hags.
I was honestly expecting him to try to turn into one of the other party members, but that's fine.
So he's doing this. You all see this happen. He turns into this old, haggard man who has an ugly, warted nose and face, and skin almost a pale green instead of a normal skinish color. Quite ugly, quite hideous looking.
This is defective. I was trying to turn into you.
He lets out. Well, I did say almost what you want to.
Uh, got anything better?
Though I suppose it is a trade for a trade.
I'll take it off.
I need you, if you would please make a con save.
Con save.
Of course.
Okay, you take it off just fine.
Okie doke.
Okay, Midnight takes it off. Still, however, looks like a very ugly, haggard old man. He holds out his hand to take the robe back.
Wait. What's going on here? Okay. How do I turn back? I try to drop concentration on it.
There is no concentration.
Yeah, disguise self is a one and done. It's a
Right.
time or a dismiss.
No. He says, "Oh, don't worry. It'll fade after a while." He
How
kind of
long's a while?
waves his hand at the air.
All right. Gives it back to
Kalina
him.
asks, and he says, "I'm not quite sure. I've never actually used it myself." He takes it back and he lays it out on the counter there, and then looks back at Naya expectantly.
What about these bags over here? And grab some of the bags. What do
Okay.
they do?
One of those has some interesting beans inside of it that, when planted, grows quite a tall stalk that you can climb. The other
Okay.
one is an interesting bag of holding, though you might have to fight with it to get anything out.
Does it try to bite you?
It does.
Okay, that's scary.
It's rather hungry.
Do any of the items that you put inside ever go missing?
Not that I know of.
I want it.
Naya's going to, I may regret this, going to pull out the second crystal vial.
hmm His eyes light up and the glow gets visually brighter from his gaze, and he says, "You have two?"
The only two in existence.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Would that perhaps sweeten the pot enough to have a look at any other wares? Is there anything else you're holding back
Oh,
for a better offer?
I suppose. Two of those, something so valuable. Uh, I could offer this, and he just suddenly pulls forth out of nowhere a small potted plant that has what looks like a small bush of pumpkin seeds. And he says, with this, you can grow a home, you can grow a carriage, you can grow food enough to feed 20 people. You just have to take care of the plant, feed it properly every day.
And
And
What
then
does it
what
eat?
happens if you
he
don't?
sets that down on the counter and says, a drop of blood every now and then. But that's all. I promise.
What happens if you don't feed him every day?
It gets a little hungry.
Does it bite too if it gets too hungry?
I don't know. I've always fed it. I was told to always feed it.
It wouldn't happen to be named Audrey Meteor.
So he sets that down and then holds forth his hand and does a little flourish. And then on top of each of his fingers, you see what appear to be root looking things that are shaped like bones. And he said, and there's these 5 for a trade. These will always give you a helping hand when you need it, especially when others might be around. And then he puts those 5 down.
Can I attempt to gauge whether or not he's being forthright about the benefits and drawbacks of these items?
You certainly can. You can give me an insight check.
Eventually, these are gonna come back to bite me here. Too many checks. Um, 18.
As far as you can tell, he's being sincere about everything that has a drawback that he said, and about the usefulness somewhat of some. The one that was kind of weird is the bone roots, that you feel like he was kind of trying to
Sketchy.
sell it as more than it is, or less than it is, depending on how you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The what he seemed to be saying about the little pumpkin seed tree, he seemed to be very sincere about. Uh, the
How
same,
many how many times can you grow something with the pumpkin seed tree?
it's got 5 seeds on it right now.
So you can grow 5
Is
things.
it 1 drop of blood per seed or 1 per day?
Are you asking?
Yes.
Yes.
He says 1 per day.
So we could technically use it once a day.
Every
For
morning it seems to grow itself back.
we could technically use it for a house every night.
We could. I'm thinking about it.
Hmm.
There may be a drawback to that.
Replacement tiny hut?
If it's like the Cinderella pumpkin and it vanishes at
Disappears
midnight, that may be a problem. You know?
So,
Yeah.
out of character, which ones
Uh-huh.
do we think sounds interesting?
Yeah, feel free to go ahead and talk out of character if y'all need to. If y'all want to discuss things, if any of these seem interesting or not.
Out
Totally
of
up to y'all.
character, I do not care about the mace at all.
Right.
I want the earring.
The mace that I have is literally going to be about the same amount of damage, and all it does is give me candy. I don't need that.
The
That's
earring's
candy.
definitely a good one. I think even though the bag of holding bites, I think it could still be pretty good.
I mean,
I do not.
if you can tame the bag of holding to only bite people attempting to steal from it, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm a little afraid of a biting bag of holding.
Yeah,
Personally.
I blame you for this, Meteor, but I'm mimic shy.
Oh,
Midnight would love to have a biting bag of holding.
I gotta stay quiet.
But I mean, I was also thinking about the crown for midnight, maybe if nothing else. But I was just hoping for
Well,
something more
What kind-
immediately useful that didn't seem like a monkey's paw item, and all of these seem like monkey's paw items.
Staffs and wands? Can we ask about staffs and wands?
You
the,
certainly
If there's
can.
anything useful?
the crown.
That wasn't
I
out of
think-
character.
I know what the negative of the crown is.
Yeah,
I'm
but
aware.
I don't think it sounds all that useful just seeing undead.
Right. Well, depending.
Yeah.
Never,
mean, it
never
could be
know when someone's
situationally
undead and you
useful.
don't know it.
Right. It could be situationally.
The death wish cupcake.
useful.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I do think the earring itself that I found earlier that I specifically asked for is still pretty useful.
With
I
how
just feel
obsessed I
like
am with
for-
contacting Nana.
I just feel like a single earring is not a good trade for that crystal. I feel like we should get multiple items for that if we were going to do that level.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask about wands and staffs though too.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm
we'll ask about that.
honestly curious as to if he has any shields. That would be something that I might be interested in
Do
upgrading.
you have any wands, staffs, or shields?
Oh, I certainly do. Though most of them are just your mundane magical items. But I do have one or two that's a little bit special. Though, based on your reaction so far, I don't think you would be quite interested in those.
Well, now
Does-
you got me curious.
Firedale, does this guy so far with the items that we've been shown kind of come across as a he's a merchant, but he's selling like novelty magic items, right? Particularly useful ones.
Based on how it's coming across, he thinks they're all quite useful in whatever way they are. The items that you see, a few of them that you actually know what they are definitely, proper magic items. But
They just have
specific
drawbacks.
the specific ones that he seems to be offering a trade for a trade all seem to have some quirk or
Drawback.
Yeah, drawback to compensate for whatever goodness it might be. Things that most people normally wouldn't want to just buy on their own.
The stuff he couldn't possibly just sell for coin, yeah, because nobody
Right.
would want it.
And stuff that he probably wouldn't buy just for coin.
Mm-hmm. So probably trades he's gotten from other people.
Okay. So
I wonder if he'd want your ring then.
Yeah, I'm still hoping.
I mean, it would fit right in with what he's gathering. So.
Yep.
I'm still kind of hoping I can remove the curse on it and have an actual ring of protection, though.
Well, that's even if it was a ring of protection, it may not be.
That's
Yep.
true.
Would a normal just like remove curse?
Normally,
Remove-
if you remove a curse on an item, it's no longer magical unless it's a very special circumstance. It just removes the
Uh,
all of the enchantment.
Yeah, because usually for most curse things, the enchantment itself is part of the curse. Like
right.
the ring
Gotcha.
itself,
Yeah,
it
there
made
there
you
is
think you got
no
a +5. It doesn't mean it gave you +5, and
right.
the curse is that it negates that. It is the curse is it makes you feel like it's a +5, but it's actually a
Gotcha.
-5.
So removing the curse
So-
wouldn't turn it into a normal protection. Got it.
That's normal.
Do we have any? I guess I would also ask if there are any tents or similar items that would make resting on the road easier. Would be also
You,
the question. So the wands, the staffs, the shields, and then that.
yeah, looking around, as far as you can tell, you don't see anything that stands out as plainly mundane.
Darn. No Harry Potter bigger on the inside tents.
No makeshift tiny huts.
Yeah.
So what was the like? Sounded like he said he had an interesting shield.
Oh,
Oh,
he said he had normal.
yeah,
He
and
said there was one that might be.
yeah, but he was pretty sure that Naya wouldn't be interested in it. He said,
Can we hear about it anyway?
"Oh, sure, sure. It's a rather nice shield. It's a little bit more defensive than it looks." And he reaches behind himself, and from nowhere again, he pulls out a shield. It has what appears to be a little bat skull that's in the center of it. And he says, "It's very good at blocking. However, every time you're hit, it may screech a little bit."
That doesn't sound bad. Midnight whacks it.
Okay, you whack it. He looks with a gasp on his face as you do so, and he's holding it there. I need everyone to please make a dex save.
Okay.
Nat 20.
7.
11.
Yeah, you're gonna get us all in trouble except
Yeah.
for you.
Yep. There it is.
Okay.
Naya saw you go for it and just kind of face palmed and did not dodge.
9.
You tempt Midnight with something like this.
I was gonna ask a question, not with the
Okay. Naya, Kalina, Princess, and Colfax, you take 3 sonic damage, 3 thunder damage.
Ow! That hurt.
As the shield seems to vibrate, the little bat mouth opens, and a high pitched sound echoes rather shortly in just the area around, and the sound kind of pierces your ears, and it's definitely painful.
For that, I'm
does
gonna
the
take.
does the holder of the shield look like they were impacted by that?
He looks rather taken aback that it was hit. He doesn't seem like he has reacted to the squeal.
Okay.
That
For
was
that-
a fabulous noise.
Yeah.
For that-
Midnight.
Hold on. For that, I'm gonna take. Because I have my staff of flowers in my hand. I'm gonna bonk Midnight in the head with it.
Yeah, so Midnight, you heard nothing. You just saw the bat mouth open and nothing came out.
Oh, I heard
And-
nothing. Interesting.
And you were the one who hit it.
And I want to bonk Midnight in the head for that. Please and thank
Princess.
you.
Princess definitely heard a high.
Nothing happened.
Princess definitely heard a high pitched squeal.
Yeah, Princess did.
Do not do that again.
He
Fine,
looks
fine.
rather angry
Ow.
at the moment, and he puts the shield back behind him.
Well, you let me try the robe. I figured
You
I
have
could try
to
the shield
ask
too.
first.
My bad.
Naya's like, well,
I'm
we
gonna
will
bonk
take
her
the
in the head
shield,
again.
seeing as my compatriot has
He raises his hand and points at Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight, you find yourself standing in front of the door outside. Everyone else just sees Midnight disappear.
Oi! Where'd I
I'm
go?
going on the principle of you break it, you buy it here. So I'm going to accept a trade for the shield, but I am annoyed.
So is he.
So
I think Midnight's been kicked out.
I'm
think so.
sorry!
Y'all hear a knock at the door and Midnight outside saying, "I'm sorry."
Actually, you hear it
It's okay.
inside saying, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's what it would be.
Because Princess.
Yep, you are totally right.
Which would probably confuse him a little bit.
Yep. So he looks a little bit confused at that for the moment. Though he
So now I
looks
come
up,
back in.
Princess can see that he looks right at him. And then he says, "You can re-enter. Touch nothing more."
Yes, sir.
So was the shield would the shield be valued at one or both of those crystals?
Just one.
Okay.
A trade for a trade. I would never do anyone wrong.
So I will accept that trade. So
Oh,
it'll be
are
one.
you
I
sure?
think the shield could be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would accept that trade, but I would also ask if it would be okay to also accept a mundane item along with it, or if it's simply one item for one item.
My trade for trades are one for one.
Okay.
Though I do make some exceptions, such as the pumpkin tree plant, which definitely has 5 and continues to grow more, and these bone roots, which are 5 for 1 since they're kind of a single use.
Right. They don't like to be separated. Um,
He says, "No, no, it's just you can only use them once."
I see.
But the pumpkins, it regrows every
Midnight
day.
will
So
reach into her bag,
Mm-hmm.
pull out the ring,
Mm-hmm.
hold it towards
His
him, and
eyes
say,
light up.
well, Princess will say, I'd like to trade this for your biding bag, please.
that's if you trade for it.
I think you'll find it very interesting.
Okay, he holds out his hand. Can I see?
Yes.
You place
I'm
it in
gonna
his hand.
hold my wand ready to bonk Midnight again if anything happens.
Yeah, all of his fingers are very much pushed together at the moment. He is offering his palm and not his fingers.
Yep, so that you can drop the ring into it.
Mm-hmm.
Cupping palm.
So are you going to give it to him?
Yeah, she hands it to him.
Okay, he takes it. He checks it out the same as he did the others. He looks it over for a moment. He like strokes his beard a minute, and he says, "Hmm. On lid down, the up is interesting. Sure. I'll trade you the tooth bag for this ring.
Thank you.
Normally I would sell it, but this is an interesting item."
Alright, remove that from my inventory.
What was that?
He's removing the ring from his inventory.
Okay. And I will make this item for you later. It's a bag
Okay.
of gnawing.
Okay.
Of course it is.
But is it
Mm.
actually like a bag of holding though?
Yes.
Okay. It likes to nibble.
Yep, it likes to nibble.
Yeah. And I will also point at the earring of message, the single earring, and express interest in that as well.
Do you have a second one of those?
No, I'm afraid of that. I only have one.
Do you have any similar items that can be used for communication?
I have a pair of stones that can be used to talk to each other. He's
That's
thinking
not
about.
really
I have
helpful
a
to me.
few scrolls. Nothing major beyond that. Oh, I have a horn that whenever you speak into it, it makes your voice so loud everyone can hear you from miles around.
A mega horn.
But yeah, so Naya would be interested in the shield and that earring, and then possibly health potions
Yeah.
out of what we've seen so far.
Okay.
And then I don't know that we have an actual tent. So if he did have even a normal tent, that would also be of interest.
He did say no mundane.
No mundane items, but then she said something about special. So that's why I was
Mm-hmm.
asking. Is we can see if that can be found in the shop.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a tent. Again, nothing is labeled. You do see something that appears to be a rolled up tent of some type.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up magical items to even try to ask about them.
That's what I'm literally doing now.
Midnight, with her hands behind her back, is looking down at it. What's this
Okay.
one do?
No, he says that's quite a large, small tent. It looks like it's just big enough for one person to sleep under, but once you crawl under it, it actually holds four. It's great for
Naya will also be interested
family
in that.
camping
Yeah.
trips.
How much?
100 gold.
Die.
Don't think we have quite that much at our disposal.
I mean, if you'd rather, I can trade for it, but your that gem definitely would be more worthwhile of any of these. And he waves his hands over the things that he's got laid out on his counter there.
I mean, Naya's going to take the shield. That's going to happen. The tent was just a thought because with him being a shop, I don't think he's going to be hosting us for the night. I don't think that's happening. So
We
we're
can't
still
ask
going to have
if
to
we can
find somewhere to
sleep
sleep.
outside, though. We can't
Um,
ask if we can sleep outside.
Midnight's gonna like get a look on her face like she has a bright idea, and she's gonna reach. She's gonna go over to him, reach in her bag, and pull out 3 goblin skulls.
Okay.
I see you like skeletal remains, like I do.
I do.
What
I
do you
do.
think of these?
He tilts his head and looks at them, and he says, "They're rather plain, aren't they?"
Yeah, but then you can stick these in them, and pulls out velociraptor feathers.
He gives
Really
a little
velociraptor
chuckle.
feathers.
He gives a little chuckle, and he thinks he has an idea of what you're trying to do. And he says, "I'll take the lot for 50 gold."
Deal.
dang.
Hey, that's a great deal in my.
That is a great deal. Oh my god.
He places 50 a small bag and counts out 50 gold, puts it inside the bag, and sets it on his counter in front of you.
I'm going to pull
Okay.
out that unique 15 gold piece coin that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to place that down as well.
No, he lifts that up and looks at it interestingly, spins it around, taps his monocle, looks at it, kind of turns it in his head, and says, "This appears to be quite old and not from around here either, but I can easily trade you a gold for a gold."
Wait, what? What gold do you have?
It's a 15 gold piece coin. It's printed in the
Like-
likeness of a pious
Oh,
martyr.
yeah, I
We
had that in
found
my
it with our
inventory
equipment.
too.
Yeah, it's that item.
I was
Yeah.
about to bring that out myself.
Oh, yeah, that's listed in the haversack. I didn't realize that you had grabbed it in
Yeah,
particular.
I think I had grabbed that one.
Okay, I don't have that marked as you having it, but that's okay.
So yeah, so he mentioned it. He said, I will happily trade 15 gold for 15 gold."
I'm going to hand him the 15 gold pious murder thing,
Hmm.
and 75 gold for the tent.
Jeez.
That 50
mean
gold
85?
got me just enough.
You mean 85?
Oh, is it 85?
85 and 15 is 100. 75 and 15 is 90.
3 gold short.
We also have a copper chalice.
You're right.
So I'll pull out the copper chalice. Just all of our treasure items. We're just gonna exchange them for gold right now. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay,
If
I think
anyone
most
just
of the
has
stuff
3
does
gold,
have a gold piece value on it.
Yeah, the chalice is 7 gold pieces and 31 silver.
So any treasure items you have, he will happily trade in. The more unique it is, if it's something very unique,
Will
let me
he
know.
accept the promissory note worth 11 gold pieces from Ralph the Liar?
He will.
Okay. I think that'll put us at enough.
He will only give you half though for the promissory note.
That might still give us enough.
I
We're close.
have.
He says, "I can't believe Ralph is still handing these out."
I have a slimy eye. Has a metal tag or pendant hanging from it that's varnished.
That's the eye that
That's
y'all
the
crushed.
witch's eye.
Oh,
We
that's the
destroyed
witch's
that.
eye? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you need to
destroyed
take that
that.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
We
no
also
more.
have a receipt for fine wine that's been uncollected from a tavern somewhere.
Uh-huh.
That
He
did not
won't-
have a gold value, I don't think.
I think we have enough for the tent.
He won't trade for the fine wine receipt.
Okay. That's fine.
The
I can
only two
offer a little
things-
bit of gold to offset whatever we still don't have.
So I have 82 plus 15, which is 97. So we just need 3 gold.
And that's including the copper chalice.
That was
And the
not
promissory
including the anything you did. That's just what I have on my person.
Well, I mean, even just the promissory note would get you
Yeah.
well, half of 11, so rounding up or down, Fido.
5.5.
Okay.
5
So
gold,
five gold,
5 silver.
5 silver.
So I'll take all of mine out, and you keep 2 gold, 2 silver, or 2 gold, 5 silver for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, any treasure you want to convert, just please let me know which treasure it is you're converting so I can keep track of anything special that might have been needed later or not.
Oh dear.
The only two specialized things I have, which I'm not getting rid of my quilt, it ain't happening, would be the runic carved antlers.
Yeah, so I'll give up the chalice and the note.
Okay, he does
Unless-
trade for those.
Yeah.
After you trade him the note, from beneath the desk, he pulls up a pile that looks vaguely familiar, and he places that when he unwraps the pile. He's got a piece of twine wrapped around it, and he puts that on top of it, and then rewraps the twine. And he said he will come in here one day, and
You
I
will
will
collect.
There will be a reckoning when he comes in, yeah. Oh my goodness.
you wouldn't believe how many people show up with those.
Okay, so Meteor, did you use the funds for the chalice too, or just the note?
I think just the note.
Okay, so I'll add
'Cause
the
that was the
funds
11,
for the
right?
chalice to mine. Yeah,
Or the
note would have been the
5.5?
5 and 5.
Yeah. Then yeah, that's all I used.
Okay, so
And then he says, "So, what would you like to trade for the crystal, little miss?"
I believe there was interest in the potted plant,
Oh, we're doing the potted plant?
and there was
Well, it
interest
can
in
be
the
also-
shield.
Blood one?
It can also be used as a carriage too, he said, right?
Yeah, there was interest in
Oh.
both of those.
I have a question. With
Yeah.
the pumpkins, with the carriage, does it draw itself or do we need horses?
I was told you would need to provide your own method of transportation.
That's what
Okay.
I suspected.
So it's a glorified wagon that disappears at the end of the day.
You're on mobility.
Okay. Then I mean, I feel like I want the shield. I don't think we can get both of those items. I don't believe.
Trade for a trade is 1 for 1,
Yeah.
except for the bone roots,
Mm-hmm.
where you
Which
Well,
get
I
5.
we do
not
have the
interested in.
2 crystal vials.
Right.
So
But
the
he brought out the potted plant when I mentioned I had a second.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that was a 2 for 1 on
That's
that
still
one.
1 for 1.
Oh, okay. So we could do both.
It's just a little bit more valuable in his eyes.
And what is everything that the potted pumpkin can do?
You can make it's a large pumpkin that you can feed 20 people with. It'll give you a place to stay for the night, or it'll give you a way to get around.
Okay. So yeah, I will make both of those trades for the shield and the potted pumpkin plant.
Okay. He looks
Shopping
rather happy about
episode.
that and
Mhm.
happily offers both
Oops.
to you
Sorry for hitting the
in
mic.
trade for both the crystal vial sets that you've got.
Yep. So I will take those crystal vials out of my inventory.
Is there anything that Colfax wants?
Where is Drema during all of this?
I don't know.
Drimma and Good Boy have stayed outside.
Okay.
Is there anything you think would be good for me?
Looking around, one thing kind of catches your eye. It appears to be a bow on the wall that seems like it's made of bone and muscle and sinew that's been dried.
Oh,
What about that earring? I'm sad now.
Kind of scary looking.
I think the earring was a purchase thing.
So it is a bow, and if you ask about it, he'll say that it does a little bit more. It's a little bit better for shooting than your general everyday bow. However, it does have does like to prick you every now and then.
Oh,
So
that's
what?
scary.
Yeah, it's a hungry bow.
Hmm.
How much is that earring?
Yeah.
The earring is, one moment while I look.
Push comes to shove, we can try to offer tea vials. We have them,
Or flowers?
or flowers.
Uh, the earring, I will say, is that that uh 50.
Okay.
Definitely don't have enough.
I only have 38.
28.
We do have the 15 gold piece coin, which I decided not to trade, but we could. That would give me another 15, which would give me enough.
All the thinking.
While
It's
you're
a cool
thinking
coin,
that,
though. I kind of wanted to keep it.
I'm gonna dig out my sending stone and just hold on to it.
Okay.
Do I feel a connection?
You just hold on to it. Nothing special.
Well, I'm trying to reach out. Do I feel a connection?
Oh, are you trying to do
Yes.
the thing?
Yes.
Just trying to use it.
Nobody picks up.
Alright,
It is
I
late at
will-
night.
Yeah. I will pull out a vial of the Fayflower tea.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, I'm a little short on gold for the earring. Would this be accepted in addition to a sum of gold?
He looks at you for a moment, kind of rubs his beard, turns his head and looks at Midnight,
What?
and then says, "How much gold do you have? What's the difference that we need to work with here?"
I spent all mine.
Naya has 38 gold and 70 silver.
Okay. So you say 38 gold, and he rubs his beard for a minute and says, "For the earring, mm, do you have more vials of that? Maybe 2 more, so I can have 3."
We do.
Okay, then 3 of those and uh, 35 gold, and I will make the trade.
So how much are these vials of tea worth, would you say?
To me, at the moment, they're worth 5 gold each
Okay, not too
for
bad.
this trade.
What
Not
do you
too bad.
normally sell yours for?
I normally sell them for, well, a little bit more than that.
Mine do
course,
seem to be a bit
that's
more
business.
concentrated than what you have available.
They do appear so, yes.
Surely they would be worth a little bit more than 5 gold apiece.
You can give me a persuasion check.
Would the flowers themselves be more valuable?
But Naya will shush you.
Shush.
I
His
have my
eyes,
wand.
I
his
know.
eyes light up and perk up,
Oh,
and he listens. Flowers, you say?
Terrible persuasion.
Interesting.
Yep.
he might not have known how to make it.
Yeah, I was too focused on getting you to shush, so I failed my persuasion. That's how I'm playing it.
Barely.
I got distracted.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to really be willing to give in on his price of 5 gold for each. But his eyes have lit up, and he is quite interestingly looking at Kalina, who has mentioned
Uh-huh.
flowers. Uh, you have the flowers that can make this tea?
I can create.
Well, before Kalina gets that out of her mouth, Naya will pull one of the half flowers,
Hmm.
Or some of the petals, rather.
the hybrid ones.
Oh.
So the off-brand flower.
Correct.
Okay. He looks quite interested at the flower, and his face has lit up a little bit, and he says, "Okay, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make the trade, an earring for the flower."
Now I feel bad that it's a half flower.
I figure the half flower makes it more interesting. Because finding a full flower, you just go to the Feywild for that. The half
Backseat
flower is
only. Thanks
specifically
for
from the
following me.
leaking of the Fey magic into the mundane.
Okay,
I feel like that's rarer.
can I pull out my full flower
Mhm.
and put it on the table and see if he has any other recognition from it?
You pull out the full flower and lay it on the table, and he kind of shoos it away as you're about to lay it down. And he says, "I don't want that flower. I want that flower," and points at the one that Naya is holding forward.
Precisely, the hybrid's more valuable.
So for shits and giggles, Firebutt, out of character question,
Uh huh.
can I make the hybrid flower?
You, out of character, in character, you've never tried.
Naya, and it was one hybrid flower for the earring.
That's what he said. He said,
I will
that-
accept that
that
trade
rumor.
because I still have 5 more of them.
Princess
I'm
is
gonna-
going to go over to Kalina and whisper to her, "Whatever you do not tell him that you can make them."
I'm just gonna run out of the store for a minute. I'm like, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna run out, make sure I'm hidden enough.
Oh no!
So Naya will put her tea back away, the vials away, and we'll make the
And
trade
he
for
trades
the flower for the earring
for the earring.
before anything else can happen. Yep.
Can I?
Kalina
Do I have-
zoomed out of the building.
Can I? Do I have to stealth to try and do this for him to not see what I'm doing?
He is inside the building. I mean, the door closed behind you.
Okay, can I try and make one of the hybrid flowers?
Okay, you concentrate into your flower staff. Mark off one of your marks,
Yep.
one of your charges.
Yep.
Try as you might, thinking about that hybrid flower, and out pops a perfectly normal, pristine one, not a
Okay.
hybrid.
Okay. Well, I still have a hybrid flower on myself as well.
Yes, you do.
So you try to make
So
it
I'll-
that you get the perfectly good fey flower.
I'll pick up the fey flower, put it
Mhm.
in my bag, and come back in and just look kind of
Okay, add another
dejected.
fey flower to your inventory. And Kalina walks back in the door looking all dejected.
Oh.
And he says, "Are you all right, miss?
Yeah, I just needed to check something. I left something outside.
Uh, I have a space you can sleep, but I'm afraid there are no trees for using the restroom. You'll need to go out into the forest for that. I hope you made it in time."
I'm good. I am good.
I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm glad. I'm afraid I don't sell leaves or parchment for that.
Oh, it
You're
was no bathroom issues.
you're willing to house us for the night. That seems exceedingly generous. Is there a cost associated?
Oh, not at all. As long as nobody else is staying out there, I have a spot that's actually laid out to help people who might find themselves near my shop late at night. There's a fire pit prepared, and it is warded against things that may want to do you harm.
So we didn't need to trade for the pumpkins. Oh well.
Well, that's
We
good
can
for
use them in the
later.
future, though.
I'll pass that off onto somebody else in a minute. Naya's not gonna hang on to those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to give you bedroll wise or tent wise, though. You now have a tent,
I think we've resolved our tent problem now.
Yeah,
Yes.
a
but
four-person tent.
it's free to use. It's outside. It is no hair off my beard.
Well, I believe this has been a fruitful trading experience for us both.
It has. It has. He seems quite happy with himself, and he seems to be coveting the flower much more than the vials at the moment. I mean, he seems like he has gotten the best thing a kid can get type
Yep.
deal. He's
Well,
quite
and
interested in that flower, and
I'm
yeah, and I've
curious
been
how much he
very
buys
Weird.
them for.
well. The hybrid flower cannot be obtained, as far as we know, outside of an area that has
Been
uh
corrupted.
been bled out Fey energy.
Yep.
yeah, he is quite proud of himself for that trade.
It will be very, very, very interesting to see if he can attempt to replicate them and regrow them, because I did make sure you said petals earlier, Kalina, but Naya intentionally kept the entire flower.
Oh, I have an entire flower as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, Naya's been pulling petals off as she makes tea.
Yeah, but I actually kept an entire flower, and
Yeah,
I believe it's in.
Yeah, one of the first ones you picked.
Yep.
yeah,
And then I also
Naya
have
has
a
as
full.
well. So yeah, Naya offered the entire one of the entire flowers, um, rather than just petals.
So it's okay that you both have one.
Yes, I'm just clarifying that I also have. I'm storing them as flowers. That's how that's been going.
So
Um,
he's looking at the flower and then at the vials and says, "Well, if y'all are done here, it was very nice meeting you all. Uh, I hope you can visit this old man again sometime. Anytime you'd like to come to Torgrim's store of interesting baubles."
I'll need to give you. I'll need you to give me the name and spelling of the store later, Weirdo. Just out of
Please.
character.
What's your monocle do?
Sorry, I was typing the name.
That's what I said later. But
Okay. Well, I want to do it before I forgot it.
that's fair.
My monocle lets me appraise and decide the interest of where items might have come from, might be going, who might be interested.
Ooh.
Then he says, he kind of waves in the air towards his door
Yep.
and says,
Naya's going to say, we appreciate your hospitality. We will get out of your hair now.
"Oh, I appreciate the trade. Please have a pleasant evening, or a pleasant night, as they say."
And
Then
Naya
he
will go for
busies
the door.
himself putting the stuff that he had laid out on the counter back on his person. If you stick around to watch, he actually like takes the mace and he picks it up in his hand. He spins it around slightly and then pats his side, and the mace is just suddenly gone.
Okay.
And he does this for the rest. I really thought those kids would like the candy. The door closes.
So
Everyone is outside.
wait, so where's the area that he said we could stay?
Down to the side.
Down
From
to
the
side.
front door,
Yep.
if you turn
By the
right
fire pit.
walking out, there's a large circular area that appears to be flagstone, the same as the path. And in
Can
the
you
center
move
of it,
his
there's a fire
pictures?
pit. Pardon?
Move
you
the,
move his
the picture of
pictures?
the guy.
Because you're
Oh.
blocking it.
Oh, sorry.
Ow!
I'm
I keep hitting the
shocked
mic.
that I got $50 for my skull.
Yeah, you
50
can't
gold
see
for the
it in
skulls
the
and
image, but
feathers.
it's over here to the from the front looking left, but coming out the door to your right.
Naya will offer the earring of message to Midnight.
Wilson Stone, thank you for following me. Oh, sure.
Oh, I'm sad.
We'll
You
take
wanted
it.
it?
Yeah,
Oh.
because I'm so obsessed with trying to contact Nana.
Oh, yeah,
Well-
give it to her then.
Well, message is much more limited. You can't choose who you're sending it to. You send it in a direction.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. That
So-
would be why it didn't work.
Right, so I figured give it to Midnight. That way Midnight never has to worry about being silenced again.
Yeah, and
With
it's
the loss
True.
of a
within.
familiar.
I was thinking sending. Got it.
No.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is the one where you
message-
point your finger and it's like
You can
100
try to target a person, but it
feet
really it
or
just goes in a
something.
direction very short range
Yeah,
by
towards a
comparison.
creature within 120 feet.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking it was sending. Never mind.
No,
I'm good.
definitely not. That would not have been that cheap for sending.
Sure, I'll take the earring, I guess.
Naya's just trying to make Midnight feel like she's not going to not have a way to communicate should something happen to familiar again.
It's actually a really good idea.
She wants to try to like get rid of
Make
that
her
fear
feel
right now.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Fair. She appreciates
Additional
it.
security blanket.
Yep. So you and I will write up these items so you can add them to you. But you have the pumpkin seed plant,
Yep.
which is a rather weird thing to say, considering pumpkins normally have their own seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Naya will offer that to anyone else in the party that wants to take charge of feeding and taking care of that plant. It's not really her thing, but could be
It
useful.
seems like a midnight thing
It
to.
doesn't seem like a midnight thing, but midnight's got a lot of things.
and I mean, you could be bit by the biting bag and then use that to drop the blood. I don't know.
While you all are deciding that and deciding how watch is going to be, I will be back in just a moment after in Little Dragon's Cave.
Okay.
Hope everything comes out okay.
Yep.
I don't want to hog all the items, so if anyone else wants it, they can. If not, Midnight will gladly take it.
I don't think Kalina is about blood right now.
I am also not about blood.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Naya will probably use the shield unless using a shield, in which case they can.
Yeah.
You are cutting out a little bit, by the way.
Okay, I'll rejoin.
Oh, so
Alrighty. But yeah. Naya will use the shield unless someone else wants to start using a shield.
I'm
go
good.
for it.
The bat skull motif's not really her thing, but the effect seemed useful.
Maybe we can find somebody to change the bat motif into something else.
Let's see. So I'm getting the biting bag, the earrings, and the plant blood.
Earring, by the way, not
Earring.
earrings.
I am gonna say I'm not concerned about you getting the lion's share of items from this meteor because you did spend most of the money.
That's fair.
And the
You spent most
pumpkin.
of, you spent a lot of your money on the
On the
thing,
tent.
so on the
And
tent. So I'm
the
fine
tent
with that.
That's gonna be
the
great
tent is
for
an us
everyone,
thing.
So, yeah. I spent like literally every bit of money I have. I have 5 copper left.
And the pumpkin
Yes.
is going to be a group item anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's more than fair. I don't think that's a problem.
And I think Midnight likes to force science
Yes.
Yeah.
with blood.
Uh,
Not the first time.
I'll wait till he gets back.
Yeah, there just wasn't a lot there that personally would have interested Naya.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, the candy might have been a cool thing. Were they actually still acting like kids? But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, we're spoiled by good berries.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Because I think in the description for that item, it does state that the candies are 1 HP,
yeah, it's one temporary hit point from the
which is
candy.
So-
basically a good berry, but doesn't
Yeah.
have the
The-
nutritional value.
Yeah, but yeah, the
The-
good berries are ultimately better.
The
So-
funny thing is, you give Midnight the earring, and you watch this green, ugly old man put it on.
Yep.
Until you come back to normal.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, it's the same duration as a normal disguise self, which means you'll
I'm
be you
back.
in an hour. We'll find out.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And yes,
Sweet.
Midnight is still very much the
Yep.
pristine view of a rather ugly and scary dwarven man.
Yep. So we were just talking distribution of items while you were away, so it was fine.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
Midnight has the potted plant. Midnight has the earring.
The biting
Midnight
bag.
has the biting
four-person
bag.
tent.
Midnight has everything, apparently.
The tent is a group item, and then I have the shield.
Could we put the tent in the haversack later on for
Yeah.
holding?
Yeah.
That was
I don't
more
know if it's an
question for
item that he
Midnight.
has to create yet for me to add it.
I will say,
So-
generalities and with what you all know, magic
Oh
wise,
yeah, because it's
that
a spatial thing. That's not a good
Yeah,
idea.
putting the
yeah, that's
tent
right.
in the haversack
Yeah,
probably
we'll put
not a
it.
good
We'll,
idea.
we'll
Yeah,
put it in
no,
the
okay.
normal backpack, in the explorer
Yep.
pack.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's true. Spatial magic. Dimensional
Just-
magic.
Also, don't put the bag of.
Yeah, biting bag
gnawing.
also should not go in there.
Right. Well, she's gonna carry the biting bag on
Yeah.
her shoulder.
Yeah.
So, Midnight's gonna go back up to the door and knock again,
Okay.
and wait for him to answer.
There is no answer.
Probably gone to sleep.
Have you fed this plant today?
From up above, you hear a voice kind of call out through the window that's above the main room. Today, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank
And you
you.
see the lights inside the
Go out.
place start to go out.
Yep. So we'll need to feed it again in the morning.
And walking away from the front door, Midnight hears a click.
Okay. Can Midnight fly up all the way, like, up? Not Midnight, sorry, Princess. Fly all the way up there and just peek in the window?
Princess can. So
Stealthily.
Princess flies up, peeks through the window, and just sees blackness, even with the dark vision.
120 foot of dark vision and can see
It's
through
probably
magical
magically
darkness.
darkened.
Princess can see through magical darkness.
Yeah, you see black.
Interesting.
There might be curtains.
Yeah, there are
Oh.
black curtains in the window.
Even
Yep.
I can see through that.
I was hoping somebody wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, so
Midnight's staring intently for a bit, and then it's like, oh wait, that's a curtain.
yeah.
Right.
Alright, so Naya's gonna set up for bed. Get our new tent pitched.
Okay, you set the tent out, and you lay it down as if you're going to open up a tent and start it. But as soon as you roll out the tent, it sets itself up. The top of
Oh.
it raises up.
Ah.
The poles fix themselves, and it appears to be, from the outside looking into it, a tent that's about big enough for one person.
So who's sleeping outside of the tent? Because there's
Whoever's
only
on
room for
watch.
4 of us.
Whoever's on watch
Usually
will
that's
go in
Drema.
and out. So
Drima and Good Boy were waiting outside, and they happily followed you around to the rest area.
Yep. And we shouldn't necessarily need a watch if we feel we're safe enough. He said it's warded, but I mean that's up to us individually how much we trust that.
Yep.
Well,
There's
Princess
still
will stay on
one.
guard regardless.
There's still one problem. Only 4 of us can fit in the tent.
Yeah. If
And
needed,
there's
Naya will
5.
not be in the tent because she needs less sleep. Naya just goes into a trance. She doesn't fully sleep, so
And
What happens if more than 4 of us try to go in the tent?
we just are cramped, I think.
You can attempt it and see.
Midnight will stay up on a watch regardless.
Midnight could also go in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Only for like 6 hours though.
Yeah, Naya will be outside. Will not go into the tent.
Alrighty. Are y'all going to light the fire pit that's prepared there, or are you going to not
Yeah.
light anything?
I mean, we
If
don't
we're going
necessarily
t-
need to have
It's
dinner.
warded.
We could buried, but
If it's warded, then sure. Just
Well, I mean,
for warmth.
it is a chilly night. I mean, it's not
if
cold.
it's cold, then yeah.
I don't need to.
It's a cool fall night.
You got your blanket.
Yeah, honestly, you're the one who least needs to be in the tent with your blanket.
Yes, but
But-
at least I'm protected.
I'll take first
Mhm.
shift.
Y'all hear howling in the distance. It's still very much in the distance. The occasional owl. So y'all good on watches?
Yeah. During my watch, I will attune to my new rod.
Okay. So the night passes without incident. As soon as the last person wakes up, and this would be happening as you're waking up. However, Naya and Princess would see this happen as it happens. Is you're there and you're relaxing and looking around, maybe talking with Drima or playing a game or something, and you look up and the tower is gone. The flagstones that y'all set your space up on just suddenly disappears out from under your feet there's no pop, there's no poof, there's no sound. It's just suddenly gone.
Okay.
Where the fire pit was is looks to be, a very old campfire. Beyond that, it is gone.
Our items are still there.
Yeah.
Everything
is
that we
still there.
placed within the space is still there.
Yes,
Okay.
Do I still have my biting bag?
you do.
Okay.
By the way, did we long rest?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone actually gets to click long rest properly this time. Meteor.
Yes.
The potted plant seems to have a seed missing.
A seed missing. Okay. I give it some blood.
Okay. So take a point of damage, and you drop it on the plant, and the seed grows back.
Okay.
Okay.
So in theory, we could probably go 4 days without feeding it if we absolutely had to. Based on that.
I don't think that's the greatest idea, but
I don't think it's a
yes.
great idea, but it's good to know.
Dun dun dun. And I suppose that would be a good time to stop. Unless
Hold
people
on.
would like to continue a little longer.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Good chopping
good.
I-
episode.
How early is it in the day?
You woke up in the morning, so around 6 o'clock.
Dawn.
Okay, I'll
Little
wait
after
till
dawn.
a little later
Um,
then.
Yeah, it's dawn.
Just question: can Phelan and Colfax have attuned to their items as well?
I'm assuming so.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll have to
Was
mark yours there, Nihon, on Colfax.
Yep.
was the
that'll do.
shield something I needed to attune to or no?
It is not.
Okay.
Oh, it's already. I already have it
I'll
marked
fix
as
it on
attuned.
Phelan.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will fix that shield as well.
Yep. Just tell me what I need to do when the time comes.
Will do.
Yep.
So everyone good?
Yep. I think we are
Yeah.
good to wrap up stream for the
Alrighty.
night.
Well then,
All right.
everybody, thanks for stopping by for this. I keep wanting to say 19th. This is 18th, right?
No, it is
No, this is
19.
It is
yours
19. You're
correct.
Yes, well,
correct.
good. Jeesh, sleepy dragon brain. So, thanks everybody for coming to this 19th session of In the Demon's Grasp, where our party seems to have met a rather interesting dwarven man. So, thanks for coming, and hope to see some people next time we play.
Yes,
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you
Thanks for
listening.
being here,
We'll see y'all
everyone.
next time.
Have a good day, night / evening,
Bye-bye.
and who knows? Maybe one day you'll get to visit Targum's shop. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.